Resurrection Business and Biscuits. William Hovey Smith, 2013. I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, but we also need some biscuits to go along with our deer.
I'm Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. And today we're going to talk about Resurrection Biscuits. Yeah. Now this show is going to be just about as much business as it is about cooking. You know, life gives us some odd throws of the dice sometimes, but every once in a while you'll start coming up with 3 snake eyes in a row. Ugh. Similar things will happen to hit you in a very brief interval. And that's what happened to me. I've been doing a radio show for a year and a half called Hovey's Outdoor Adventures, and well, we ended it. So this month will be the last show, okay? I had a book project going back in 2008. I was never able to bring it forward. Oh, nobody wanted to read a book that was that thick. Okay. Most recently, it had to do with biscuits. I talked to a lady down at the grocery store, and she told me about this biscuit recipe where she was using yogurt instead of sour cream to make up biscuits, and it sounded pretty good. So I had a friend over, Bill Krantz, and I whomped up on some, and they were absolutely terrible. I mean, these were like maybe British hardtack, except without the live weevils. Well, so we took these biscuits, and what we did, we crumbled them up, and we got some venison, and we made a pot pie out of them, like this, which happens to be very good, by the way, and it has roasted venison in it, and potatoes, as well as English peas and carrots, and onion, always onion, and that turned out to be real good, and we salvaged the biscuits. So what this is all about is, yeah, if you've had some past projects in your life or some past events that did not go quite right, you know what? Maybe you could tweak them around a little bit, like I did with my book. Take a great big book, and now I'm republishing it in smaller and smaller segments, so people can get just what they want, just when they want it, get it as an e-book anytime they want to have it for very little money. All right. The first one, if you happen to be interested, is a series called Muzzleloading Short Shots #1. And this will be choosing a muzzleloader for hunting. Okay. Takes you through all the processes of the guns available and what's out there right now and what guns are better for some purposes than others. And talks not only about rifles, but about pistols and smoothbore guns and shotguns and the whole gamut of stuff that I've been doing with for the last 50 years. All right, now, back to the biscuits. What we did was we started off, like we're going to do right now, with some flour. All right. So, okay. I'm going to sift up this stuff. And we're going to do, I'd say 2 cups of flour. Now, one thing about the previous batch is they did not rise. So obviously, I needed some baking powder in there that I did not have. Okay, we're going to take care of that just a second. All right, cup number 2. That be done. Now, what else was lacking in this stuff? Salt. Yeah, biscuits need some salt. And I'd say they were lacking about a teaspoonful of salt. Okay, teaspoonful of salt. They did not rise. So they needed baking powder. All right. Yeah. They needed about a tablespoon of baking powder. Okay. All right. Now these will get stirred up good. Now Now, in biscuits, you've got to have some source of fat. So we're going to use butter. And I've got some thawing. And here is about 2/3 of a stick of butter that has been softening over the stove. So, okay, that goes in there. Yeah. And you need milk product from something. And here we have our yogurt. So that's going to be our milk product. Okay. So then we proceed to mix well. And I'm going to need more liquid, so I'm going to get some milk and put in here. I'm going to take it a little bit further just to see how much milk I need. Okay. Actually not too much, as you can see. Okay, we got some milk. I should have taken that butter and distributed it a little better, but it's getting in there. It's getting mixed up. Okay. This is about the consistency that you want for drop biscuits. And rather than work the dough anymore, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you just take them and you drop them on your pan. Some people call these usually biscuits. So if plan A doesn't work, use plan B. Now traditionally in the South, if this happened, you would just add a little more flour. So you get it thicker, and then you would mold it out with a hand and make a patted biscuit. P-A-T-T-E-D. And if you were really good, you could have it another consistency a little bit, spread it out on the sheet, and cut it out in squares. Well, okay, drop biscuits coming up. Well, biscuits are cooking, and the pot pie turned out good. Yep. You can see the carrots, you can see the potatoes, you can see the English peas, and the biscuit in here has sort of almost invisible. There's a little hunk right there, for example, but it's all in here, and yeah, it turned out to be quite tasty. The only thing it lacks in flavor from a typical pot pie is the browning you get on the crust. But otherwise, yeah, all the flavors are there. So we did manage to salvage it. Now, there was something else I didn't tell you about. I did tell you that my radio show was gone, all right? So what am I doing with that? Well, you know, we learned a lot with 1.5 years of broadcasting. And we learned a lot from producing these 200 videos. So, a casting agency is holding an open call up in Macon. Yeah. So I'm going to go up there on Saturday, and we're going to see if we can turn some of these experiences into the movie business. Ah! So to see you on the big screen, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. At any rate, biscuits are cooking. Well, what have we wrought? Well, the biscuits just out of the oven, and of course very hot. And we took them up just as you see that the peaks of the biscuit are starting to brown, but the bottom is fairly well browned. So this is about how you want to do biscuits. You don't want them all white on top, but just started to brown, and then that's usually about right. Now these are unlike any biscuits I have ever made or ever seen, as a matter of fact. So we shall see how they do. Okay, lift easy out of the pan. A little bit tough. All right. You need that in a biscuit. Okay. Need them to have a little strength. That's why you do brown them on the bottom more, so they'll hold together. Okay. Ah, good. Thin. All right. Enough strength to hold in the hand. All right, that's okay. Flat. Not so hot. Take butter. Actually sticks to the top. That's a plus. They will slice. Haven't got much there, but they will slice. A little jam. Okay. Tore apart, a little delicate. Well, let's see. Now they got to be better than the last batch. Unusual. They do have a little taste of sour cream or buttermilk, although there's no buttermilk in here. Well, much better than they were before. Certainly nothing I have ever seen in the way of a biscuit before. But from the abject failures they were, yeah, these do pretty good. Although they're certainly not pretty biscuits, these do pretty good. But now, this is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe, goodbye, God bless, and see you next time.
Here is how that pot pie looked after it had been put in the oven and reheated for a little bit. Now, I'm the author of Backyard Deer Hunting, Converting Deer to Dinner for Pennies per Pound, and also crossbow hunting, and also extreme muzzleloading, and even practical bow fishing. Now, these are available as ebooks. If you had a business or project that failed, think about how you can repackage your experiences and turn them into profit using modern e-technologies. For more information about my books, blogs, and videos, go to my website at www.hoveysmith.com. Now, Short Shots #1, Muzzle Loaders for Hunters, as an ebook will be out by May the 1st, 2013. Good hunting and good eating from the outdoors. Goodbye and God bless.